Alright, we're going to do another example from section 2.5, this time where x is a quantity between two values. Now, again, we're going to be solving for x, but this time we're going to be dealing with, obviously, 3 terms instead of 2. So the first thing that we're going to do is get that 6 out of there. You know, fractions in general, when we're solving these problems, are an issue, and we need to get rid of them as soon as possible. So we're going to get rid of that 6 by multiplying all the terms by 6. So I'm going to have -1 times 6 is less than or equal to 6 times 2x minus 5 all over 6, which is less than or equal to 5 times 6. And the point of doing that is because these 6's now cancel, which is the whole point. We don't want the fractions in there. So now we have -1 times 6 becomes -6, which is less than or equal to 2x minus 5, which is less than or equal to 30. And again, as a reminder, we had to multiply every term by 6, because whatever you do to one term, you have to do to all the others in your equation. Otherwise, you have fundamentally changed the equation, and that's bad. Okay, so now, again, the whole point is we're going to try to get x by itself. So we're going to do that by adding 5 to every term, because that will get this 5 out of here. So now we've got -6 plus 5, which is less than or equal to 2x minus 5 plus 5, which is less than or equal to 30 plus 5. And that means that these terms cancel each other out, which is the whole point. So now we've got -6 plus 5, which is -1, which is less than or equal to 2x, which is less than or equal to 30 plus 5, which is 35. Okay, and then the last step is, again, we want the x by itself, so we have to get that 2 out of there. And we're going to do that by dividing all terms by 2. Okay, and that would give us, at the end, we now have -1/2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 35 over 2. Okay. And again, the signs did not flip in this case because we were not dividing by a negative number. Even though this number over here is a negative number, what matters is the sign of the number we're dividing by. So since we were dividing by a +2, these signs do not change. They stay in the same direction that they were. Now the second part of this problem is graphing it. This one's a little trickier to graph than the last one. Let's see, I might need a little more space, so I'm going to erase some of my stuff here. Alright, so again, I'm going to draw my number line. And this time I'm going to work in increments of 5 because I have to go up to what is essentially 17.5. That's what 35 divided by 2 is. So I'm going to start 0, 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay. And now this time I'm dealing with an inequality that has the line underneath it. So I'm going to use this closed bracket. Conversely, you could also use the closed dot. So -1/2, since I'm dealing in increments of 5, is really close. Probably should be even closer than that, but very close to the 0, but on the left-hand side because it is negative. And then again, that 35 over 2 is technically 17.5, which puts it right smack in the middle between 15 and 20. Okay? So x falls between those two numbers. And again, you could have instead used closed dots to signify this less than or equal to sign. Please let me know if you have any questions.